Good evening. Hello Toastmasters, welcome guests, Madam Chairman. You've heard the objectives of this is my C9, and you heard the objectives. The objectives are to be inspirational. So, what does an old bore like me know about inspiration? It's not from my lips that you're going to get phrases like, we will fight them on the beaches, we will fight them on the landing strips, we will fight them in the hills, we will never, never surrender. And of course people like Churchill are a little bit special. But they weren't unique, because in the time of Churchill there was a whole raft of wonderful, inspirational speakers. In India you had Gandhi, probably a little bit more thoughtful, and he would say, an eye for an eye is fine, until you realise the whole world has gone blind. In Italy you had Mussolini, a bit more fiery. Isn't it better to spend one day roaring as a lion than to spend 100 years living as a sheep? And of course over in Russia we had lots of activity there with Lenin and Stalin. The revolution is on. Join the revolution. All people had wonderful inspirational speaking. And then in Germany you had a young man who probably was the inspiration of all things, the inspirational speaker of all things. Has anybody ever looked, studied, watched the talk Hitler addressing a crowd, addressing a rally? Absolutely mesmerising. How somebody could motivate a cultivated, sophisticated country like that is absolutely amazing. I don't know any Germans, so I won't be giving you any of his speeches, but if you look at them, you will see somebody that is standing there, he is positive, he is direct, addressing it, no hesitations, and for the benefit of June, not one single or anyway. But the crowds he drew was absolutely amazing when you look at them. And it wasn't really till perhaps the Beatles came along that anybody started gathering crowds like that, and they said that it was quite amazing that nobody until they came along that attracted so many crowds for anything other than war. So much so they were probably as big as Jesus. And there was another very inspirational speaker, forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they doest. So there's plenty of inspirational speakers around. And the reason I mention the Beatles is because another thing when you're coming to inspiration is when you look at the musical heritage and background and the composers that these great speakers had. In Churchill's time you had Elgar, and everybody knows his Land of Hope and Glory, Britain never, never shall be slaved. Inspirational stuff. Russia had numerous composers that they could call on. And in Germany you had Wagner. Has anybody seen the film Cabaret? Mm-hmm. Many people will think of that as just being a musical. But it's not a musical, it's one of the most sophisticated films where you can actually learn more about how the Nazi developed in Germany than any other. And there's one bit in it, a very wonderful scene where the three stars of the show go off and spend an afternoon in an idyllic summer Austrian resort. And a young, clean-faced, fresh young German lad stands up and starts singing the purest of voices. He starts singing, the branch of the linden is leafy and green, the Rhine gives its gold to the sea, but somewhere a glory awaits unseen. Tomorrow belongs to me. And you will understand how, not just speaking, words can manage to bring that in. What about another musical thing? Evita, Don't Cry For Me, Argentina. Isn't that pure, unadulterated political inspiration? Absolutely wonderful. So, to do my C9, I thought perhaps I should go to my favourite composer. So I got out my Gustav Holst. Damn, somebody's already done I Vow to Thee, My Country. So I thought, what else can I do? I know what I'll do. I'll find another musical. And when your C9's not going too well, you can always pick yourself up, dust yourself down, and start all over again. And this could mean that even if you wanted to be a stunt artist, you could take 18 months to 3 years and you could be a stunt artist. So I say to you all, if at first you don't succeed, try again.